Lil P Superstar Chapter 5. Ugh, why'd I expect this to have good art? Why did they hire the same artist for the entire arc? Did they not hear any of the fan reception? Anyways, for once Beth's a great mother by telling her daughter she looks lovely, even though she never does. Honestly, I think even Meg looks more appealing to the eyes. She then is protective of her daughter, telling Rick to be nice. Summer brags to him that Mr. P chose her for his adventure, not him. And he says that he's not sulking, just thinking. I doubt it. I'm pleasantly surprised that the realistic thing happened, and she actually told other people about her adventure. I felt like that wouldn't happen because it was just a summer adventure. Maybe it's because of my memories of the Tails miniseries and how Tails went on a quest to prove himself, and then we never saw him telling his friends about that adventure. I'm glad the writer showed self-awareness by having Rick call her adventure a dumb excursion, since it was obvious that it was a bad idea from the start. Rick naturally lampshades Mr. P choosing Summer over him, and also wonders where they messed up. So it's realistic again, because while they told him about their adventure, he wasn't told about their failures because Summer only told him about it to brag. He thinks they didn't resolve the adventure properly. Her skin was yellow in those panels, so it looked like just PB to me with that close-up. Rick whispers to PB that it's not too late to ditch Summer for him. He unrealistically shrugs it off, calling Rick a jester instead of being annoyed with him. And then it gets creepy as he gives Summer a corset. I was thinking earlier about the unfortunate implications here where he's an adult and she's not. And now it's like the writer is doing it on purpose for a joke. I'm glad he reminded me that they're going to the prom, and so he has to give her a corset because that's what happens in proms. But still, you'd think that someone would be awkward about this. There are different species and age groups. You'd think Rick and Beth would object to this. I guess not Beth, because she didn't object to Bird Person's wedding to a so-called teenager. Rick says that there's no way Summer didn't screw anything up. I mean, she did get way too lucky. And she was a screw-up because she kept standing still instead of shooting. And the only reason she escaped prison was that talking was a free action. He might just care about the fact that she probably didn't resolve it properly. Out of nowhere, Rick says that's up to him to fix everything, and creates a portal saying that he can go to its last coordinates and check out what Summer left behind. He goes to a damaged place and someone calls for help, and he's happy that Summer really did mess up. I mean, she revealed to Mr. P's planet that Mr. P's still alive. That's the goal they want to accomplish, and they accomplished it. And they escaped. They accomplished that too. Somehow, because the audience hasn't been insulted enough, Summer and a weird lame alien with a terrible name got announced as the year's prom king and queen. It's just main character syndrome. I don't care if they're main characters. They would not have won, and they didn't need to. They're trying way too hard to sell their friendship. But them being their naturally nice selves to each other was enough. Rick says that she doesn't deserve the title, though that's very true. And he puts on the crown and makes me giggle, saying to Peavy, "You should have taken me to prom. You see, unlike Summer, I don't leave things half done." So he throws some awful looking guy of his species on the floor. Oh, that's a girl. Summer asks why she only has half of her head. She wouldn't still be alive. So, like we saw in the last issue, but they did a good job of distracting you from it. The portal got created and got rid of some of her head. I guess it distracted me because, I mean, she did scream last issue, but Summer and Peavy were talking to each other, not even noticing it. Just saying, "Oh boy, our adventure's done. Are you ready to go home now?" So, and combine that with the fact that I'm used to gore and Rick and Morty, and I guess it didn't register to me to the point where I'd remember it. She always looked bad, so I didn't feel inclined to look at her again. So, it was surprising to me that this was brought back. But instead of leaving things half done himself, Rick could have killed her right after showing her to Summer. Rick lampshades that he would have just shot her. Yeah, that's just what I said Summer should have done. Once again, her mercy backfired on her, and it backfires on Rick too, because he's merciful here too. Because Celia reveals she has fire guns out of complete nowhere and starts shooting them wildly. It was only her guards that had guns. I guess she kept missing because if she actually hit any innocent people, a big deal would have been made out of it. Summer tells Rick that this is all his fault, and tells everyone bravely to evacuate because this is between the two of them. She tells Rick to give her a gun. Again, every time she's had a gun in this arc, she didn't shoot anybody. And Rick could shoot Cecilia just fine right away. No, it's not much more evil just because Cecilia's a girl. She's probably the most unlikable character in the comic. And all the time they're wasting on this page, how much damage would have been done? Why on earth is Cecilia not just focusing on Summer? Why is she saying nobody can enjoy PB if they're dead? She gave up on PB because he lost his hat. I guess she's insane at this point, but how is she able to move then? If it's because she lost half her brain. Ugh, are you kidding me? I thought Summer learned her lesson by this point because they're trying to portray her as a badass. But no, she once again wastes time talking to the person with a loaded gun. Logically, she would have immediately shot her. Especially since we saw an alternate Summer who was fine with shooting people. And at least it's lampshaded that she might not have the guts to pull the trigger, so I hope that's what they're always going for. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating. That doesn't explain why this psycho is taking so long. Won't that insult just be flung back at Cecilia? Guess not. Out of nowhere. Again, Rick admits that she did everything right, and should have had faith in her for no reason, and says that he's sorry. Why isn't he protecting his granddaughter? Logically, Cecilia would have shot her a long time ago. As if the writing wasn't bad enough, Rick asks why she isn't saying anything, since she knows how hard revealing a soft side was for him. Summer at least tries to justify that's hard for her to react right now with a gun against her head. They keep wasting time talking as the bad guy doesn't shoot her. And finally, Rick gets a gun out. I mean, I don't want the main characters to be shot, but then don't write a situation like this. He shockingly wastes even more time, saying they didn't give Summer a clearly superior gun because it was his favorite one. Wait, what the fuck? Cecilia runs away? Sure, Rick had a gun, but wouldn't she have shot her before this? She just tried to go psycho on a bunch of teenagers, so why would she be holding back? I guess she had a change of heart, and realized it's not what she really wanted. Rick says they should finish this as a family, and go into a dark area. They hear PB, and Rick recklessly fires in the dark, not knowing if he'll hit him or not. I'm surprised they actually let him get shot again, and he says what he said in the show. But this time it's really distracting that there's no blood. Oh, never mind, there is. But it's blue all of a sudden. Let me get this straight. I guess it's blue because this is C-135, Mr. P, and not the one from the show. It's a pretty big coincidence that two different versions of PB got shot by a member of Rick's family. I don't think this needed to happen to PB just for the sake of a reference to the show. I'm fine with references to the show, but I'm not sure if repeating the plot point was worth it because this is dark. Stupidly, Cecilia opens her big mouth, so Summer finally shoots her. Why did she think she could get away with that? She could have just... Well, there was nothing she could do to get home. Rick makes a portal leading to the hospital, and we see PB learning to walk again, with Summer asking if he's mad at both of them. It doesn't make any sense for Summer to have him mad at her. Rick's the one who did it, and he's amusingly apathetic by saying, I mean, probably. There's only so many times his family can shoot him. I just realized how weird it was that an alien was being successfully treated at a human hospital. Maybe it took a while because the alien acts exactly like humans anyways and is never treated any differently. Somehow. It has to be that even by season 1, all the humans know about aliens. Because there was a whole party in season 1 with the aliens intermingling with the humans. Fortunately, Summer actually says that she hadn't shot him. Is this... Oh god, it's a complete ripoff of the show, because the physical therapist tells him that she thinks they should leave. Why? I can understand her saying that to Rick, but not Summer. And Summer lampshades this stupidity, but pointing out the problem doesn't make it go away. Like all the friendship moments between them were meaningless apparently. And Rick's just happy about this. This is so stupid. It's out of character for a nice guy like PB to be like this. Like he's not this spiteful. Well, she is responsible in the sense that she could have just shot Cecilia immediately. but he doesn't even explain that. But yeah, she could have prevented that from happening to him. Then we see a dimension called S-223, where Rick tells PB that he could ditch Summer and, oh, go to the prom with him? Why would he want to go to the prom with him? I thought he wanted to go on interdimensional adventures with him. And PB is lamer than Morty. So that's gotta be why it made no sense to me that Rick liked him so much. I guess PB had done really nice selfless things for him in the past that earned his respect before the show. Anyways, PB agrees, as I really wonder why he wanted to go to the prom with him. After everything that happened in the previous issues. And he even gives Rick a corsage. Wait, did I type down corset earlier? I'm so tired. This isn't funny, it's really confusing. Is PB really confident in his own heterosexuality? Both of them must be. This is out of character. Jerry naturally gets turned down when he asks to go to the prom with her. And he cries. Well, it's all gonna be worth it if it means PB doesn't get shot. Then we see Rick and PB dancing at a high school prom that they wouldn't be allowed at, and then Rick spikes the punch with alcohol, and they take a selfie. And somehow they get announced as the year's prom king. This is beyond insulting. Not only is PB lame, if sympathetic, but he's also an alien and adult who isn't allowed here. And Rick is an old man. Like, I guess it was supposed to be a joke, but you don't want to have jokes that make no sense. Because then if it's not funny, then it's not worth it. Then they have fun in the limo after Rick says that prom really is the best night of your life. Things are going too well. Oh god, is this going to lead to Rick shooting him anyways? At first I thought the story would have ended 2 pages ago, since PB getting shot seemed like a pretty climactic way to end the issue. But since it lasted so long, it has to be leading to something more. Oh good, when Rick calls out Summer's name at home, she's not trying to kill herself out of nowhere. Instead, she's got his portal gun. Wait, why in the world would Rick go anywhere without it? That's contrived. She summons Bird Person. Why is Bird Person spelled with 2 words? Did they even look at the subtitles in the show? Anyways, he showed up immediately, conveniently, and said he needed his portal gun to help with something. So she agreed. How'd he come here? Since when does this happen? Guess it's not too unbelievable. Where's Morty been all this? Wouldn't you want Morty instead? So Summer walks into the portal with him, and Rick lampshades that he needs to start hiding his portal gun. If the writer knew he should be doing that, why did he write this at all? Rick's a genius. I feel like Summer's making a dumb mistake here. Like she hasn't learned her lesson from her last traumatizing adventure. Thank God the arc ends here instead of continuing, because I find Bird Person creepy. He's too serious to be believable, talking like a robot. And in the show, he married what he thought was a teenage girl. I'm still not clear on whether she actually was one, because she turned out to be a Galactic Federation agent who married him to arrest Rick and his friends. And how could she have gotten that job if she was as young as she looked? But how could she have enrolled in high school if she was clearly too old? A fake ID and stolen security number, I guess. They called some fake references for her. I don't think they're that easy to get. This issue is about 2 potential stories for no reason. One where Rick gets jealous because Summer had been picked to go on an adventure with Mr. P and goes to prove she screwed up, only to screw up himself because he brought Cecilia here and didn't immediately kill her after showing her she was still alive. And she somehow turned out to be still alive. And I guess she has a robotic brain, since it's still functional by this point. I guess her brain has a redundant version of literally everything, so it makes sense that she could survive with half of her brain. So because she's still alive, she goes psycho, only to start holding back by waiting an eternity without shooting Summer, because I guess she had a change of heart. Well, Summer waits an eternity instead of shooting her. Though that makes sense. But she's kind of violent in the show. I mean, in the Mad Max parody episode, I don't think she held back in that episode, where she married Hemorrhage. They could have easily avoided PB getting shot in the dark. They just had to repeat the jarringly depressing ending of one of the show's episodes. It wasn't funny the first time. The second story, in another dimension, has PB uncharacteristically ditch Summer for Rick. Though I guess it's in character for this version of him. And somehow they go to a prom together instead of adventuring. I guess they're both really confident in themselves, and brainwashed everyone to let them do it. And somehow, PB wins the prom both times because creator's pet moment. Fortunately, we don't have a predictable joke where he gets shot again, but the ending wasn't good anyways. Summer didn't learn her lesson at the end of this arc, and went off with Bird Person, when it was obvious that going on a dangerous adventure with PB was a mistake.